The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and or interviews of the following program are solely of the individuals and are not the views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid, COVEN, the unofficial American Horror Story COVEN internet radio show exclusively on Papi Chulo Radio. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2013, and I'm your host, Papi Chulo. Here on Are You Afraid, COVEN, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of the hit FX series. We're going to deliver directly to you the biggest news regarding American Horror Story COVEN. So you're going to get all of the casting scoops, episode titles, ratings reports, and spoilers during the latter half of the show. But don't worry, we're going to warn you with a spoiler alert. So please welcome my coven of co-hosts. We're going to start off with Miss Kitty herself, Cat's Meow.
Meow.
Next up, we have the woman that brings all of the witches to the yard, Darielle.
Hey, you guys.
And last but not least, we have our own version of the Minotaur, Deadly.
Oh, that's right.
How come I didn't get like a little thingy?
You were Miss Kitty. What do you want to be? Okay, and
y'all could have called me like Queenie Precious or something.
First up,
Queenie Precious. We're still on that.
First up, we have our own Supreme.
No, fuck that. After what happened in this episode, I don't want to be a Supreme anything. I don't want to be a Supreme chalupa, a taco, none of that.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about tonight. So much happened. There was murder, incest, bestiality, there was death, there was everything you could ever ask for in this kinky episode of American Horror Story COVEN. So let's jump into our recap. This is episode 303, and the episode was titled The Replacements, and it aired on October 23rd, 2013. So we're going to start off as we usually do by reading the press release for the episode. And here we go. Fiona takes on an unlikely protege. A guilt-ridden Zoe tries to give Kyle his old life back. Madison has a fiery exchange with Joan Ramsey, a new neighbor. We'll start off as we usually do by getting everyone's initial reaction without jumping too deep into the episode and without revealing key plot points. What did everyone think of the episode? We'll start off with Darielle.
Okay, I know I'm beginning to sound a bit repetitive, but this episode made me feel so uncomfortable and so paranoid and just, oh my God, there's just so much going on.
You looking out your window?
Looking out my window, looking at my mama, like, girl, like, are you okay? Like, it was just, it was gross, awesome greatness, is what I had to say, and that's all I have to say about that, because I just couldn't deal with this episode.
What about you, Diddley?
All I can say is my eyes popped out. You know those, since it's Halloween, you know those springy eyes just going back and forth. I think my eyes are still doing that. I'm like, what the hell did I see? But it's like I was uncomfortable, but I liked it at the same time.
We're not surprised. Okay, before I let Cat's Meow go, because Cat's Meow listeners, she was ready to rip this episode to shreds.
I was about to jump in this TV, and I was about to have the FCC all over this damn episode.
She was ready to do that. So before I get your initial reactions, I'm going to go, and I'm going to say, I enjoyed the episode. I love episodes of any television show where the unexpected happens. Like, there are a lot of TV shows out there where you're like, okay, this is going to happen. this plot point started off, and okay, by the end of the episode, this is what's going to happen. I already know this, but let me just enjoy the ride. I had no freaking clue what was going to happen when Queenie Precious was going to town. I was like, what? When all of these deaths started happening out of nowhere, I was like, what? When Mama Deer started making out with her child, I was like, what?
Wait, you're giving away too many plot points.
Well, no, because I never said who and who. So,
Jesus Lord.
but it was an intense ride, and I love that it was an additional 15 minutes, because it was an additional 15 minutes of some of the kinkiest, bizarre, freakiest, scariest, most disgusting thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I want some more. So now, cat's meow, it's your turn.
Well, first of all, I would like to talk about after I turned my TV off. I blessed my TV with some holy fucking water, because what was on that TV was most foul. And it's funny because that about like
She
that
said
neighbor
it was most foul.
I felt like I was in a maybe a game called Life,
You're in
but
the asylum.
it was a really fucked up version of the game called Life, because every situation that could have possibly went wrong.
It did.
I was to the point I was so worn. I was so emotionally worn out. I blessed that TV, and I went to sleep with the Bible, child. I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. I was like, Lord, where is Ashton? I was waiting for Ashton's ass to walk out on the middle of the set, because nothing was making sense to me. I got punked. I blessed my TV. I went to sleep with the Lord's story in my arms next to my heart, child. I was so confused. Lord, like, if it's gonna be more of this, I need to get more bless all, because this ain't enough.
I can't do.
And with that, let's actually jump into the episode. So we'll start off at the beginning of the episode, and we see the wonderful Fiona waking up in the middle of the night. It seems she can't sleep. She's searching for her pills. She's searching for something to take the pills with, something to let the pills just easily fall down the back of her throat. She finds some of her favorite liquor. And then we get an amazing flashback. We jump into the DeLorean and flashback to the year 1971, when a young Fiona, who was a beautiful young witch at Miss Robichaux's academy, is chatting with the current headmistress, who is also the Supreme and is her mentor. And she's basically asking the Supreme, how did you know that you were the Supreme? And the woman sort of laughed it off, saying that it was an old story, and that basically, a lot of witches are gifted with a power. Some of them have multiple powers, but a Supreme covers all of the 7 wonders, the 7, I guess they're like the 7 major powers that a witch can have. And the young Fiona, the eager one that she is, announced that she was ready to demonstrate her power, saying that she was the new Supreme, the next Supreme. The current Supreme sort of dismissed her. She basically says, you're too young, you don't know what you're talking about. And so young Fiona got a little bit agitated, and she pointed out that the elder witch was getting sick, diabetes, heart trouble. She's like, as I get stronger, you get weaker. And then the current Supreme at the time sort of rose in a fury, and she had seen the future with Fiona as Supreme, and that the world of the Salem witches would be left, in shambles if Fiona were Supreme. And she said that she would make it her mission to ensure that Fiona never ascended to supremehood. And then Fiona, a young Fiona, sliced the old witch's neck open, and in the corner, silent, stood Spaulding. And he was there, over 40 years ago, watching Fiona do what she did. So yeah, we don't know if at the time he can talk or what happened, so I'm sure we'll get more details about that in future episodes. So what did everyone think of this opening scene? We'll start off with Deadly.
Well, first off, I did not like the actress. Maybe I'm nitpicking. I didn't like the young actress that played Fiona. I don't know
You
who she
didn't
was.
either.
Nah, I just was not feeling her. I'm like, girl, you need to give me a little more attitude. Just,
You need to give me that epidural.
Yeah, she was. I was just not feeling her.
I felt like she didn't capture on Fiona's beauty. I thought she was just some random woman.
She was ratchet. Like, her hair, like, she wasn't as glamorous as Fiona. I figured she would have been. She was real plain, homely Jane.
She was, but yeah, I wasn't feeling her. They could have gotten someone else.
But the scene was deep. I mean, it was kind of cool to see how this Supreme came to be, because I thought there was like some kind of, like the president, like you do it like the president, the elections or something. I mean, she just took it. She took her supremeship.
she took that supremeship.
She took it. And that's it.
You were just too much.
She wanted to be Diana.
I hate you. I thought the scene was definitely, I will agree with Deadly. The girl wasn't memorable. I kept forgetting she was Fiona. Yes, that hair was ratchet as fuck. It looked like they picked up an $8.99 bag of hair, 3 packs of it, and put it on a saggy wig cap, and then just cut it with some Mama's Kitchen scissors. It was bad. But I definitely liked the whole leading up and seeing how she got it, and you can definitely tell, like, I don't know, it was just kind of just a weird scene for me. Something that makes me uncomfortable is seeing someone being greedy and trying to overthrow someone and possibly killing them, and then they end up killing them. I just don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the scene was definitely, it set the stage as far as what Fiona really is like. Like, in some scenes throughout the show, you kind of like, oh, she's sweet, even though she's kind of mean. She does some nice things in her own mean way, but at the same time, it's like, wow, she really is evil to the core. Like, she's just power hungry and greedy, so it kind of establishes what kind of person she truly is based off of her past. And I don't know, I didn't really like the person who she was, but I kind of like who she is now, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
She's the same person.
I don't know. She's just more
You just like her more because she's Jessica Lange.
That's that too.
As opposed
of
to
course, yeah,
young girl number 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. I liked it a lot. It was really great to see young Fiona and how manipulative and power hungry she was then, and to sort of see that even as a grown woman, she's the same. And we'll get into that as we continue on with her storyline. So as of right now, let's count our tally. We have had 1 murder so far, and it's only like 5 minutes into the episode. So now we have different paths to choose because there were several different independent storylines through this episode. So let's go with Zoe. And we start off the episode with her. She's going to see Misty Day, where her Frank and Kyle is, and Misty Day is all snuggly and cuddly in bed with Kyle. And yeah, that was kind of interesting because she was a little too close for comfort. And so when Zoe picked Kyle up and sort of saw his progress, she still didn't see him back to normal. Like, he wasn't really acting human-ish. I mean, he was still sort of confused and bewildered and slightly aggressive. So she had the idea of taking him to his mom. She had gone to see his mom earlier, and she was to the point of suicide. If it wasn't for Zoe's phone call to her, she would have taken her own life because of grieving over her son and such a traumatic loss of her son. So she had the idea, once she was at Misty's, to take Kyle to her mother because she was like, okay, this is the woman that he grew up with. This is the woman that took care of him. That this could be the person that sort of snaps him back and returns him to his human sensibilities. And so Misty's all, swim fan and doesn't want him to leave, and
swim fan.
gets all angry and possessive, and Zoe's kind of like, take a chill pill, and she ends up taking Kyle, and Misty ends up taking out her frustrations by doing one of those classic Stevie Nicks twirls. And so we have Zoe taking Kyle back to the Ninth Ward to his mother's. She leaves him at the door, knocks on the door, and she sort of hides behind a tree to see their reunion. And you see the mother happy, hugging Kyle and bringing him in. And later on, we see them later on that evening. She says, what's wrong? What's going on? It's like you're back, but it's not like you're really here. I mean, you look so different. What happened to you? What happened to you? I walked into you, when you were showering, and your body is so different. And so then she's like, but don't worry. I know what to do to make you feel the way you should feel. And then we see his white, trashy, pierced up, dirty-haired mother kiss him
I'm
on
mad
the lips.
That she had like a braid in the front and the back.
She did.
There was so much shit going on. Like that was the new mullet. That's the new mullet. Period.
Yes. So she kisses him on the lips, and then her hands go down, down, down.
And that is why I blessed my TV.
Okay, can we talk about this scene?
Wait, hold up, because not that much happens afterwards. So we'll talk about everything. So her hands went down, and then the screen faded to black, thankfully. And later on, the mother calls Zoe and says, "Oh, he came back, and we would love to have you over for dinner." So as they get ready for the dinner, the mother sort of goes up to Kyle and says, your body's different. What happened? I'm so confused. And but then she's like, oh, but don't worry. I'm still here for you, and you don't have to worry about anybody else because Mama knows how to take care of you. And she's about to like bend over doggy style or something when he picks up one of his sports trophies and beats her to death with it. And then Zoe arrives for dinner. Every door is unlocked because I don't know, I guess before she walked in.
Because Kyle hasn't learned how to lock doors.
That's true. That's true. Or it could be that for some strange reason she decided to unlock every door right before she went to sexually accost her son again. But she walks in through the entire house because she thinks nothing mysterious has happened. And then she enters his room where she finds a not at all recognizable white trash mama because her face has been beaten in with that trophy.
And that was good though. It truly showed what a beaten in face would be.
Yes.
Not just a bunch of black eyes and cuts.
Exactly. And
so
then,
I appreciated it.
And then Zoe turns around and there's a bloodied up Frank and Kyle and she screams. So, what did
Kyle, you Zoe.
Yes. What did everyone think of this incestual storyline? And we'll start off with Cat's Meow because she enjoyed it the most.
No, I didn't. Why are you lying on me like that? Now CPS is gonna come to my house. No, I thought this. I'm gonna take Dario's line. It made me very uncomfortable. I don't like any scene where parents take advantage of their children. I think it's disgusting, and I think it's wrong. Yes, of course it's wrong, but for some reason it hits me so hard, and I think it's disgusting. I hate when anyone puts that in any form of media besides the news, and but that's the point of American Horror Story, is to truly, it's to scare you. It has every aspect that could possibly go wrong, to really just make you almost sick, but you can't stop looking. It's like a bad car wreck. That scene was disgusting, but it's one of those things that's definitely, it kind of cast a light on things that happen with single parents, because I've heard some stories about situations that were similar to that, and it's gross. It's gross. Bless my TV again.
This scene, I swear to God, this scene pissed me off so bad, because when Zoe was bringing back Kyle to his mama's house, you could see that as soon as his mama opened the door, Kyle looked at her like, oh my God, bitch, is this the bitch? And he looked back at Zoe behind that tree like, bitch, why are you bringing me here? I feel like she was doing this before.
Did you see how he like turned really hard? He was like,
yes, he was like, bitch, you don't know? Like, oh my God, I could tell he was like, anywhere but here. Like, his mama, is something wrong with her. Like, obviously, clearly. And this scene, again, made me just get the heebie-jeebies. And I was just looking at it like, why are they showing this on TV? This is gross. They're pushing it
and then she licked his scars and started...
She was just, why did you tell me about her? I could make you feel better than she can. That's nasty. Like,
I'm glad you were like, anywhere but here.
No,
anywhere
no,
but
you never know.
At first I thought it was sweet.
Maybe like she did have the bomb pussy.
No, she didn't. Get the fuck. I'm going to bed.
Go. We're done with this episode. No, but seriously, like, at first when I saw it, like, she kissed him, and I know, like, some parents kiss on the lips. I kiss my mom on the lips. Like,
but that's
no big deal. But
though.
then she started like making out and rubbing on him and touching on him. Like, she was giving him some foreplay before they got down with the get down, and I was just like, you know what? I don't know what sick and twisted and fucked up individual thought that this would be okay, but this is not okay. This is crossing the line. I'm okay with slitting throats, and I'm okay with all of that other morbid, gory stuff. But when you start throwing incest and rape and molestation up in it, it's just the most. That's just, no, ma'am, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am, no ham.
No, literally, no ma'am, I couldn't. I'm glad he beat the shit out of her. I'm glad her face looked like a dropped watermelon. I'm glad somebody looked like they caught the Holy Ghost and stomped all over her face, because I was too through with this. I was like, has she lost her mind? It's like a weird fucked up sense of necrophilia, because I still feel like he's dead, and then it's incest, and then it's just gross, and I'm done. I can't.
Yeah, I feel you with that. I mean, I was happy he got that trophy and just whacked her head. And then I really felt bad for him, like, because I almost felt like something was going to happen, because when Zoe dropped him off, didn't you see his little big puppy dog eyes as he was pulled into the house by the mom? I was like, oh, I don't think he wants to go inside there, right? So I felt kind of bad for him. But I don't think it has nothing to do catch me out with no single parent family thing now, because
I was about to say something else.
Because my mom's a single family, and
that's not what I meant at all. I mean, like, I have heard situations where it has really happened, but I didn't mean it like all single parents do that, because that's really fucked up. I would never say anything like that, because I came from a single parent home. But I have, like, that actually does happen, though. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the parent, but it could be a guardian. It's someone close to them. And that's the thing that makes me sick about it. Someone that you're supposed to trust is taking advantage of you. And another thing that brings to mind as far as this scene goes, did it take for him to become almost a Frankensteinish character to kill his mom, or did they? I mean, you got to really think about it.
He could, I guess, stand up to her, because, like I said, I don't know if she was doing this before. I don't know if she wasn't, but my perception of it is that she was. That's why he was freaking out. But I guess now that he's pretty much, who he is, he has no reservations about telling her off. And instead of telling her off because he couldn't talk, he just used brute force and bludgeoned her with a trophy, and
It was
You
the
know.
best scene. It was the best murder scene I've seen so far
Definitely.
in all these seasons.
we skipped over Misty a little bit, and she
Oh
is
yeah.
kind of giving me the creeps. I mean, with
Yeah,
her
she's getting
shawls
on
and
my
them
nerves.
twirls, and she's giving me that Glenn Close.
Twirl.
That Glenn Close. I will not be.
I'm tired of fucking with you, Bentley. I'm going to sleep. Yes.
She give me Glenn Close vibes. She's just scaring me.
She's
So
giving
did
me
that really
Gone with
happen?
the Wind.
Did
Fabulous.
did she just really go crazy all of a sudden she just started twirling? So that really happened? That wasn't like a figment of anyone's imagination? I'm
She was
serious.
twirling.
Twirl.
Like
Twirl.
that really confused me. So did that happen? Did she just like, okay, whatever?
She's been watching too much
Another
Atlanta
day, another
Housewives.
dollar.
Some
I'm
Kenya
going to
Moore,
sleep.
some Wonder Woman. She's giving us some Wonder Woman, Kenya Moore.
Really?
She's getting on my nerves now. All of this. Wait, come back. Like, bitch, you don't get your thirsty ass on somewhere and find some other dead ass people to raise. She is getting on my nerves now. Like,
She needs to go
and then
hunch a crocodile.
I'm saying, and Zoe's
Not
over
hunch.
here, I promise
No.
I'll come back to you. No, bitch. She seems like something wrong with her too. I'm gonna need you to stay as far away from her as possible. Because now
I'm at she clip. She was like, no, you won't.
she's
called
so
me
chill
out.
about it.
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
Shut
And
up.
Zoe needs to stop trusting everybody and being so naive because this girl is just
This bitch
causing
looks
too much stuff.
She looks like a fucking deer in headlights constantly. It's just like, what do you? I understand. You don't understand. Kyle is still with us, bitch. You know he's not.
No,
Like he's with
honey.
you, but he's not with us.
I
And
put Louisiana
why
mud
did she
on
even-
everything. Look at that.
I'm tired of fucking with you, Dario. It's the shit. Fuck you.
Literally.
Let's go to the next.
Moving on, I do want to say before we leave, shout out to Mare Winningham. She played the mother, and she acted that out perfectly.
Whoa, that was her. That was a good job.
Who is she?
Mare Winningham. She's been in movies and TV shows. I've never seen her play this
Her face
before.
looks really familiar, but
I knew her face was familiar. I just couldn't tell where I've seen her from, but I've seen her lots of places. She did play the shit out that role, though. It had me believing it for a minute.
I know, right? She's about to have me send hate mail to her ass.
I'm saying, like, why would you do that?
I was like, you made me a little too uncomfortable.
So now on our countdown, we can add in another murder. So 2 murders and 1 incestual relationship. So let's move into the next storyline. Probably one of the shorter storylines of the episode. We'll follow everyone's favorite Cordelia. And it seems that she's still having pregnancy issues. The black magic hoodoo with the snake eggs and the weird cowgirl and missionary that she had last week didn't work. And she has no idea what to do. It's not possible at all, without magic, basically, is what her doctor said, for her to have a child. So she decides to visit, basically, one of the most powerful people in New Orleans to see if she can help Cordelia with her predicament. So she heads down to Cornrow City. And she decides to have a meeting with the voodoo priestess herself, Marie Laveau. So they escort her to a back room where Marie has a bit of an altar with like a throne. And Cordelia asks Marie for her help. In the beginning, Marie isn't really paying attention. She's playing like solitaire or something on her iPad. And it wasn't until Cordelia explained that she knows about the fertility spell. And obviously she's like, you know what I am, who I am, and you know that I know. And so then Marie starts explaining what the fertility ritual is, that she's going to need to bring 2 ounces of her husband's semen in a mason jar, the baby gravy, as Marie said, and that she being Marie Laveau, would have to eat one of the hottest peppers on earth, and they would put the mason jar in this fire pit. And then Cordelia would lay down on the ground on her back, and just as the mason jar explodes, they would slice the throat of a live goat, and the blood would dribble all over Cordelia's midsection, and then Marie Laveau would sort of be knocked out for 4 days. The ritual would take a toll on her, and it would cost $50,000, and it would be performed on the next new moon. And Cordelia was like, I'll get that money to you. I don't have it right now, but even if I have to rob a bank, I'll get the money. And Marie laughed and informed her that she would never perform the ritual, not for the daughter of her sworn enemy. And she was like, she walked in here acting like she owned the place, and Cordelia was shocked. She didn't know that Fiona had visited Marie. She's like, she broke the truce, and, I'm sorry, but, you can cry those tears, but it's never going to happen for you. So that was pretty much the storyline for Cordelia this episode. What did everyone think of this? Was it at least interesting because Marie Laveau was in the mix? Because I know everyone here thinks that Cordelia is a bit of a snoozer. So we'll start off with Deadly.
Oh, as soon as Marie opened her mouth, Cordelia walked around the corner. She's like, "You want the Coca-Cola?" I was like, "Oh, yes." And then you see her up on that big old chair, and she was just giving me life right there. I was like, just propped up there with the little skulls around there. I was
had me laughing so hard playing that solitaire on that iPad. Like, no big deal.
And then the whole ritual part, that was giving me life too. It was like taking me back to my roots kind of thing. And I got up and started wanting to do the little dance, and what is it, the cum in the jar,
the baby gravy.
The baby gravy, that was a little too much. I was like, man, that's like a week's
worth. The
worth
fact that they showed it pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like, you don't know what it looks like. You couldn't have it in a covered jar.
Well, I don't know if you know what it looks like, Daryl, but apparently you do.
But I loved how Cordelia she just looked like a deer in headlights there too. Like, oh man.
So you don't know what it looks like?
And just Marie laughing at her. That was a great scene. Next.
You don't know what it looks like. She's trying to say Papa Chula.
No, I don't know if you know what it looks like. You are the youngest one here.
I'm just saying. I went to biology class. We know what things look like.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know they do that in biology.
You didn't mess with the wrong witch.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Yeah, that was a good line. Cat's meow. Did you mess with the right witch? You done mess with the wrong witch.
Yes.
I don't know. You all already know how I feel about Cordelia Fox. I don't like her. And when she was all like, you know that I know and you know who I am and blah, 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 blah. She just reminded me of Lana Banana. And I was like, didn't you learn your lesson in the second season from trying to, like, fuck with somebody? I don't know. I liked the scene of them showing how the fertility spell was going to be done. I thought that was interesting. And Marie Laveau playing on her iPad. That was the most interesting parts in that entire scene.
Would you have eaten that pepper?
Hell no. Like, fuck that. No. Next. No. No.
Did you like how Angela Bassett flicked her tongue before the pepper went in her mouth?
Yes. I got the GIF on that already, or GIF, whatever you call it. I got that already.
Oh, I need to find that. You need to send it to me.
I will.
I don't know. It was an okay scene. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Unneeded. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that whole scene was very unnecessary to me. Like, I mean, I get why it was there, but it's like, did we really have to see it? I don't know. It's just...
Like, why is Marie Laveau playing so many head games? Like, why is she playing so much? As the ancient black proverb goes, you play too much. You play entirely way too much. You let that poor white lady enter thinking that she was going to get it, and then you were just fucking with her. That's really horrible. This is like the worst thing you could ever do. Lead somebody into something thinking that they're going to get it, and all they have to do is give you something in return. And they say you would never do it for them, and you just That would just fuck my shit up. I would be so angry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. I thought
You know what you guys got to do? Channel. If you guys check YouTube out and just Google the Uncola Man, 7-Up Uncola Man commercials from the 70s. I think Angela Bassett was channeling him through that whole scene. I swear, she just ripped him off the laughing, the whole thing. Just anyway, do that if you got time.
Shout
Sorry,
out to the 7-Up Uncola Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also shout out to the Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah.
That's what it looked like. They poured all over Cordelia. It was his son. It was the Kool-Aid Man's son.
It was. It went down into her nether regions. Speaking of nether regions, we're going to discuss Queenie and Madame Lalaurie,'s storyline. So just to recap, so far we've had 2 murders, and we've had 1 incestuous relationship, and we've had 1 mason jar of baby gravy. So let's move into Queenie's storyline. We actually start off with the wonderful Madame Lalaurie, and she made a horrifying, terrifying discovery. Apparently, the magic box told her that a black man had been elected president.
Lies.
This is it.
Yeah, that was good. She was kind of like, beloved. Yes, and Fiona says, I voted for him twice. And
Make all those Republicans mad. They're going to shut down the TV show.
And then we get more lies. And so Fiona declared that Lalaurie would be the new maid, and she's like, do you know who I was? And she's like, yeah, you're the new maid, woman, or you're going back into the box. And so...
Shade.
Yes. And so she's about to serve everyone breakfast, but she refused to serve Queenie breakfast, basically saying all the shit that she would say, and she throws Queenie's food against the wall. Fiona comes in saying, what's going on? And Madison says the new maid came between Queenie and her food, and so then Fiona declares that you are going to be Queenie's personal slave. And she goes on to say, if there's anything she hates more in this world, it's a racist. So Lalaurie becomes Queenie's personal slave, and later on that night, they're in the kitchen, and Lalaurie had prepared I guess it was a chicken pot pie for Queenie, and it's like, for dessert I would like peach cobbler. And so they get to this whole discussion of man's not going to want you if you're eating all this food. If you were my daughter, I'd lock up the ice box and wouldn't feed you anything. And she's like, I don't know, I don't want a man. Food is comfort, and it comforts me because I'm from a broken childhood, and it gives me love. And so then Lalaurie sees something out in the window, and she's like, what's that? And she gets close to the window, and there is her infamous creation, the Minotaur. And she starts freaking out, saying, don't go outside, don't go this, don't go there. And Queenie looks out the window, and she sees the Minotaur, and she's like, who are you? And then she's like, I am Delphine Lalaurie. And all of that clicks with Queenie. She's like, oh my god. She had a
brain blast.
Yeah, she had flashbacks in her brain about going to Lalaurie's house. And so that was an interesting sort of reaction. And afterwards, as she's like processing everything, she you would think that she would sort of throw Lalaurie out to the Minotaur, but she actually sort of almost protects Lalaurie, and she decides to go out, as the Minotaur has sort of been like knocking its head against the door. So Queenie decides to cut Lalaurie and wipes her cut with a cloth, and she goes outside and she sort of leads the Minotaur with the cloth, almost like like a bullfighter, like taming the bull. And she leads the Minotaur into the greenhouse, Cordelia's greenhouse. And she starts talking to the Minotaur. And she's like, you just wanted love. That makes you a beast. Other kids call me a beast.
This
We both
voice.
deserve love like everybody else. And she pulls up her skirt.
Stop.
she says stop right there.
She pulls up her skirt.
Stop.
And she decides to tease her beaver.
He did not.
Nicely put. Nicely
She looked
put,
like
Poppy.
She was kneading dough.
She
Like,
was,
it just
yeah.
didn't look right to me.
Ew,
She
you
is-
said that. No.
She is a virgin,
It
and we
looked like she was
learned
kneading
that a
bread
couple
dough.
times this episode. So she was making sure, things could fit in there. And the Minotaur moved behind her and caressed her with his horns, and looked like she liked it. And then he sort of just, with his hoof hands, grabbed her mouth.
It was his hand. Like, how do you say hoof and hand at the same time?
Hoof hand. So, yeah,
How?
that's pretty much Queenie's storyline for this episode. So, what did everyone think of the Minotaur on Precious action? We'll start off with Cat's Meow.
Hand. That's what that is. I think y'all should let Dariel go first. But I didn't.
Dariel.
Come on, now did y'all have to show it?
Dariel.
Another unnecessary just scene that made me uncomfortable. Again, just everything that I said for the incest scene, let's apply it to this scene, except let's put bestiality in front of it, because it was just gross. And it's really extra gross because it's Queenie Precious doing it. It's not like it's somebody glamorous, so you can be like, wow, I wonder what that's like. Like, no.
Mhm.
I feel like she smells like
Chicken.
chicken and Stouffer's stuffing or
I'm going to
something.
bed.
What?
But I feel like it smells like meatloaf. Like, I just don't. I just didn't think it was cute. I just didn't understand why.
You did not want to explore her beef curtains?
I'm done that you said
She-
beef curtains. I'm ew. Oh god, it just gross. I didn't understand, and the fact that they just show it. The writers of the show and the directors of the show are just some sick and twisted bastards. Is all I gotta say, because that right there was just too much. It was too much to see.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with Dariel on this one. Did y'all have to show it? Because, like I said, it looked like she was kneading really stiff bread dough. Because she was putting her back into it. And it was really
You can
fucking
do it,
weird.
put your back into it.
Like, it was just weird. And then
Don't
it came
stop. Get
to
it,
the
get
whole,
it.
like, I thought it was watching a hentai. Like, I thought it was watching, I thought that all of a sudden, like, the Japanese took over American Horror Story for maybe about a couple of minutes. When I saw that there's a possibility that the Minotaur and Queenie Precious could have been getting physical. And I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Especially when I imagined
A lot of it.
the pop shot. I really lost my cookies there.
Could you imagine if she gets pregnant by the Minotaur?
Oh my god.
Because you know he didn't have a condom.
Do you guys ever watch Adventure Time?
Yes.
Her kids would look like Manish Man.
Oh my god.
Well, you guys are gonna trip out. You're gonna trip out. But I thought it was kind of beautiful in a way. I don't
Get
know.
the hell out of here.
I did. Look,
Get
it's
out.
kind
Because
of
you were looking at his pecs.
no. Okay,
Right
yeah. If you see the real, if you see the real guy, oh, just imagine the real guy. I'm gonna send you guys the picture of the Minotaur.
It's on the like page. For
Oh yeah.
the
No,
show.
like-
You'll think all different there. You're like, oof.
It's the fact that his hands actually turned into like hooves almost. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, he can have the nicest body in the world. I'm not fucking a steer. Like, it's not happening.
But I mean, I get what
Because-
Queenie was saying, though. I mean, I like the whole thing where it's kind of like the Elephant Man, the mask, whatever. Like, what you were saying. We're not beasts. We deserve love. I mean, I got that. I mean, that was
Yeah,
kind of
that
tender.
part was really
That was
sweet.
tender.
But they could have put that somewhere else. If they replaced, I don't know, like the Minotaur with something else, then yeah, I could really see what they were trying to do. But I think they went for almost a comedic like almost something is funny. Haha, the big woman is trying to arouse herself.
The big woman is
That's how I
riding
felt
that
it
steer.
because it was fucking weird. It was uncalled for. Period.
No, but the real question is, does he have a bull penis or a human penis?
It doesn't matter what kind of penis he has because it's big as hell. Everywhere you go, it's big as hell. Slave penis, full penis. It doesn't matter. The bitch is getting split in half. Period.
I couldn't deal. I feel like she's like fucking Mr. Tumnus off of Chronicles of Narnia or something.
Yes, it is Mr. Tumnus.
Can't deal.
It's Chocolate Tumnus.
Chocolate Tumnus. That's his name now.
But here's
all I
my
know is
question.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Because it started off with her wanting it. So it started off consensual. But when he sort of covered her mouth with force, do you think he raped her? Like he assaulted her?
I don't think so. I think it was maybe one of those things where he was maybe possibly ashamed for her and didn't maybe want to hurt her, but kind of just wanted to like take her down. So I think that was his way of like, get the fuck out of my way. Let me go find this white bitch. Like I think
Okay, so you don't think he did her?
I don't think so. I mean, even though he's
I think
animal,
even a Minotaur has standards not to fuck Queenie.
Oh, you wrong. You are wrong. Leave
Precious,
Precious Queenie alone. Come
Put
on.
it out
Pretty.
there.
even though it looks like that she's just like dumped her face in Crisco all the time.
She
They know,
deserves love. She
they know that.
deserves
They-
love
I
like
never
everyone
said
else.
She deserves love, but
I'm
no,
just saying
no,
though.
no.
MAC Cosmetics makes a very good stay like oil free like shine.
She
They've
need
been-
that rice paper you just smashed in your face.
and a
So-
nice brush. That's all she needs. But I honestly don't think that the Minotaur would, if they bring that into the situation where it's bestiality rape, I'm going to bed. I'm turning off the TV. I'm throwing my TV off the balcony, and I'm never watching TV ever again. Ever.
Well, Queenie got me craving a chicken pot pie, and I went to KFC today and got one. $5 worth of soda, just so you know.
And on that note, let's get our recap. So we've had 2 murders. We've had a case of incest. We had a mason jar of baby gravy. And we've also had bestiality with a possible side of rape.
It's like the nasty 12 Days of Christmas or something. Like it's just the really fucked up version of the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yes. So next up, let's get into Fiona's storyline. And Fiona's storyline actually starts off with Madison. So the girls are out on one of the balconies of the school, and they're looking at the new neighbors moving in. They're specifically lusting and sweating over the 6-packed son of the new neighbors. We're introduced to the new neighbors. The mother is named Joan, and she's not having it after she saw that her son was putting on a show for the ladies next door. She told him to put on a shirt. It appears that they are a very conservative family, and they're the brand new neighbors to the academy. So Nan and Madison head over as part of the welcome wagon. Nan brings a cake, and Madison brings a slutty outfit. So they knock on the door, and the son opens the door. Luke opens the door and lets them in. And in comes Joan, and Joan asks the girls if they had heard of Jesus, and it leads Madison to sort of declaring that the whole thing, religion, Christianity, everything was a whole bunch of phony happily ever after. That leads them to have a bit of a confrontation where Joan basically says, what are you wearing? What are you doing here? Who are you? And I never want you to come back into this house again. You're rude. And the knife that was being used to cut the cake that Nan baked, which was coincidentally, or not coincidentally enough, because Nan is a clairvoyant, it was Luke's favorite cake, and it led Madison with her telekinetic powers, picked up the knife and threw it into the air, barely missing Joan's face. And as they left, Madison set the curtains afire, which was a power that she didn't even know that she possessed. So we have Fiona. She just learned from her doctors that she can't have cosmetic surgery because she's not in good health. That we sort of find out that there's some sort of issues with her blood and this, that, or the other, and we end up finding out that Fiona has cancer. And she has less than a year to live. She's actually not going to be alive. They say that, by the end of the year that she could be dead. So Fiona's not in the best of moods, but, she's there with her glass of liquor, and in comes Joan Ramsey. And she's being all neighborly. She brings a copy of the good book because it's a gift that she always brings on a first visit anywhere that she goes, and she complains about the girls from the school, basically saying, everything that happened with her and Madison. And Fiona says that she hates Bible thumpers, that behind closed doors you are the biggest perverts of all. And Madison sort of echoes that statement when she comes on in and she tells Joan that your son's so backed up, all I'd have to say is panties, and he jizzes jeans. There was another great line when Joan says that the knife nearly hit her. Fiona says that she needs to work, that she, being Madison, needs to work on her aim. And so Joan does tell Fiona something interesting, that Madison had lit the curtains on fire, that, she doesn't understand how she did it, but she knows that she did it. And that sort of piques an interest in Fiona, because she's like, okay, Madison is developing these new powers. Interesting. I have to keep my eye on her. And so once Joan leaves, Fiona orders Madison to light her cigarette, and Madison did that from across the room with her new power. So Fiona decides to mentor Madison, and they go out together, and she starts sort of teaching her these new tricks and whatnot. And later on, they go out to a bar, and we see them, playing pool and acting all slutty and getting the attention of all the guys in the room. And Fiona sees herself in Madison, and she realizes that maybe Madison is the new Supreme. So they have a conversation later on that night. Basically, Fiona is telling her that you're the next Supreme. She's like, my life force is pouring out of my body and into yours. And she tells her that she has cancer. And Madison is like, my agent can get you anyone. He's got a lot of contacts. He has contacts with a good oncologist. But Fiona refuses chemo, saying that she's lived like a disreputable life, and she's done it in style. But it's her time to go. And Fiona's expressing all of this regret that she took her inheritance too soon and that she misused her power. She's like, I took it and poured it back into myself. And she remembered her elder Supreme saying that she was magical and powerful, that she taught her everything. And to thank her, Fiona cut her throat. So Fiona had kept the knife for over 40 years now, and she showed it to Madison, and she's like, do it. Don't be afraid, do it. Be my successor, take my power. And so they fight, they scream. Madison's like, no, no, no. And then, bam, Fiona slashes Madison's neck open and watches her bleed to death. Spaulding, of course, is in the position that he appears to always be in the middle of a doorway, and Fiona sort of smiles at him, and she's like, bury her deep because, who knows with all that shit in her body, what's that going to do with the lawn when spring comes up. And she's like, the Coven doesn't need a new Supreme. It needs a new rug. And bam, we have our third murder of the episode. So what did everyone think of this storyline? What did everyone think of the episode as a whole? So we'll start off with, since Daryl's already talking,
I had a question. What is that little pop-up jar thing that they keep referencing? Like they had it at the beginning.
It has clove cigarettes in it.
Yeah, cigarettes.
Okay, because they keep showing it, and I'm like, what is that? Okay, never mind.
Because it likes to smoke.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Well, then we'll start off with Miss Kitty.
Well, I definitely enjoyed the ending part of this episode. I liked the let's just point it out. Nan's gonna get laid. Okay.
I love me some Nan. I love me
like
some
the
Nan.
fact that she was like, I think that he is like maybe he are there male
at all to
witches?
Madison. He didn't look at her at all.
But
he didn't even know who she was. He was like, we don't have internet or TV.
But she made my favorite cake.
But like she was like reading his mind, and he was looking at her, and they were looking. Nan's gonna get laid, okay?
And not Queenie Precious style.
Not Queenie. It's gonna be consensual. It's gonna be romantic. He said, "I'm just saying, like that was nuts, and that cake looked delicious." So like, girl, Nan gonna be hunching. Okay.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Hunching. Minotaur sex.
Shut up. I'm gonna bet you guys fucking gross. I don't know. As far as her, I don't know if she really meant to be like, kill me, cut my throat. Like,
I think it was all manipulation.
You said what?
I think it was all manipulation. It was to get to that point where she was close enough and her guard was down so that she could slash her throat.
I was just like, that's fucking nuts. But the way that it tied in, I liked it. I liked the way that it ended. And I liked her little, the Coven doesn't need a new Supreme. It needs a new rug. That was great. And I just liked the entire ending of the episode.
You can have two.
I don't know. That's neck and neck. But can we also point out the fact that, like, how does it feel, Madison, to always just be, like, to the point your ass is always slipping and sliding in heels whenever you get drunk? Do you like being the sloppy blick? Like,
that dress was badass, though.
It was, but bitch, how badass is it the fact that you're, like, going fucking knock-kneed and shit and you can't hold your liquor? Like, girl, don't make it look like you're an easy lay. Like, the bitch looked like there was fucking. She had ice skates on.
To be an easy lay though. Look how she was throwing herself at Luke.
That bitch was flip flopping everywhere in them damn heels, looking like a newborn baby deer walking. It was disgusting. That bitch was Bambi.
I'm sad that she died though, like that she got killed because. I really liked Madison. I don't know. I really liked her. She was snappy. She was sassy. And she dressed really cute. And now she's gone. And I'm like, who's going to be like the little sassy witch now? Like, who's going to be
Well, the only reason I'm upset that they killed her first.
Maybe they can transplant her personality into Zoe.
They killed her. Like, that's all I was mad that they killed her before they killed Zoe.
That's it. Don't like Zoe.
I just don't, because it's Violet in another body. Her folks like she always she looks like Natalie Portman in a fucking Black Swan. She always looks like she's a virgin.
Virgin old character. I've never had sex before, and I'm a goth character. Like I'm not.
I'm a hipster.
I'm a hipster goth virgin.
Now watch me twirl.
Nope. I think Fiona really was conflicted a little bit. I mean, look, she was trying to be real nice, took her, to the pool game and lunch. And
she was manipulating her from the beginning.
Maybe it was, but I don't know. There was that moment where she was like, just cut me. And then it seemed like she snapped out of that. But I think there was a moment where she's like, maybe she deserved to be cut just like her mentor. How she cut her mentor. So I don't know.
I got that vibe too.
Mm-hmm. See, and those waffles and blueberries that Madison was eating, well, yeah, I'm having that for breakfast tomorrow. It looked really good.
Yeah, they had some really good food this episode.
I know, damn.
They had the peach cobbler and chicken pot
Mhm.
pie.
I don't
and
know
that
if I would
cake.
trust LaLaurie's hands, though.
Mm.
But it was good. I thought it was a good ending to the episode. So for our final tally, we have 3 murders, 1 incestual relationship, 1 mason jar of baby gravy, 1 bestiality relationship with possible sexual assault, and 2 deaths right by the piano with the knife. So, good episode. Really quick before we move into our spoiler section, I just want a yes or no. Do you think Madison is really dead? Do you think we're going to see her again? So, cat's meow, yes or no? Do you think she's dead? Do you think we're going to see her again?
Yeah, you're gonna see her again. I have a feeling, especially if she's supposed to be the Supreme. Like, if she's supposed to do all 7, have all 7 wonders. I don't think that's the last that you see of her. It can't be.
Deadly?
No, she'll definitely be back. I think Miss Twirl is going to be involved with her, and we're going to see.
Twirl.
She will be back.
Darielle.
I think she's coming back. That whole conflict, even with Luke and stuff, barely just started before she died. So I think she's going to come back and fuck with that neighbor girl some more. So she has to be back to fuck with the mom again, because that was funny to me.
I agree with everyone. She's not gone. She's just gone with the wind. Fabulous.
Oh, Lord.
So let's move into our spoilers section. So listeners, if you don't want to hear anything about what's coming up for American Horror Story Coven, I suggest you turn your volume down low because it's time to get a little spoilery. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So first off, we are going to start off with a new press release for episode 307. The episode is titled The Dead, and here is the press release. Fiona finds new purpose in a dangerous love affair. A night out with LaLaurie leads Queenie to question her place in the coven. Cordelia makes a fateful decision about her mother. That episode is going to air on November 20th. We also had some...
I'm sorry.
We also had some interesting news. Jessica Lange announced that she would be leaving American Horror Story after season 4, so after next season. Now, don't get too sad, listeners out there, because Ryan Murphy has said that apparently Jessica Lange, after every season, says, the next season is my last one, and it isn't until she sees the script for the newer season that she's like, oh, I have to take part of this. So... whether that happens or not, I mean, if it does end up happening, obviously it'll be pretty sad because I kind of feel like American Horror Story is like the Jessica Lange show. Like, she has to be there. Like, if, you know, we have all of these characters and actors that sort of come and go. Some are here, you know, one season, they're not the next, but then they come back. And Jessica Lange is kind of like that anchor that's always on the show. If they did lose Jessica Lange, I'm sure someone maybe like a Kathy Bates or Angela Bassett could be like the new Jessica Lange, as in, you know, they're the main person that's in every season. So we'll see what happens. I know it will be sad if we lose Jessica Lange on a regular basis. So, what does everyone think? Sad if Jessica Lange does decide to leave after season 4 next season?
No, not really.
I'd be sad. Oh, come on. She's like, I already crowned her, give her the Emmy this year. I mean, she's the show. She's the show.
She's everything. I really enjoy her. But it's one of those things, like, when you start to see someone who plays too much of a similar character all the time, just because, like, her voice, it just reminds me definitely of Constance in the first season. Like, it feels like this is who Constance was, and somehow, by the power of necromancy, she went and moved to California. So I feel like if I see too much of her... Well,
Constance did live in California.
Well, I'm just saying, but she was originally from the South. So...
Oh, yes.
It's one of those things, like, I would feel like I would be blending all of her characters. And I wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be able to differ between any of them. So it's not sad. I definitely think like I would hate for American Horror Story to be like the season like a Scrubs and just continue to go until no one doesn't want to watch anymore.
Oh God, you are so right about that. It's awful. Grow up.
I hope that it's definitely something. At most, it'll probably have maybe 4 or 5 seasons, and then that's it. Because you want to leave on a good note. You don't want to have that weird, oh shit, it's back. When is this going to end? They should definitely don't try to live in the moment too much. Kind of just appreciate what you have and know when it's time to back down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the good thing about American Horror Story, I feel, is that they are different stories each time. So it's like a new show, like a brand new, different kind of show every season. So without Jessica Lange, I feel like because all of the stories aren't tied together, without her, it's not going to be too much of a loss. Granted, she's great and she is the show, whatever the story in the show is, but because it's different every time, I don't feel it's going to take away from it. I feel like they can just bring some other strong powerhouse character to fill her spot for whatever the story for the next seasons will be.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she's old. She need to move on with her life. Like, I mean, she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but she's old as hell. Like, come on, girl, you should have been off the show. You better go to the nursing home and knit or something. I'm just saying, throwing it out there.
Shady bit.
No response from Deadly, or did you already give a response?
Well, you know what? I did just because I love Jessica Lange, and I think she is the show. I'm just a big fan. From the first time I saw her in King Kong's hand years ago. You kids are too young to know about that.
Wow.
That's a different kind of bestiality.
Damn.
And I think that's what they should do. Just bring it right back full circle. And the last American Horror Story for her, she could be in King Kong's hand, some kind of big monster or something. Yeah, there you go.
American Horror Story 5, New York.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I would be disappointed if Jessica Lange didn't return, but I would be okay with it as long as they had a great caliber, like old school actress come on and be sort of like that main character role in the subsequent seasons. So maybe they can get a Kathy Bates to come back and be sort of like the main character every season, or maybe an Angela Bassett or something like that. So
or maybe Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts' cousin or whatever.
Don't you do that. I don't need to see America's Sweetheart in here. I'm getting tired of her knees.
Her knees.
I'm getting tired of her knees. But I don't know. I hope that if they do and she doesn't end up continuing, that they don't try to replace her. They're like, okay, her moment with American Horror Story is done. Let's try to change it up and have someone else that kind of, they fill that void of that main character, but they don't necessarily try to replace her.
yeah, I agree with that. So
Don't
moving
be
on to someone that maybe was replaced, maybe not. We have some information from Emma Roberts. This was an interview that was posted on Entertainment Weekly a couple of hours after the episode aired, and she gave a little bit of interesting information. This is a quote. Actually, she gave some information, and Ryan Murphy, the creator, gave some information. Roberts was a bit coy about Madison's fate on Coven. Co-creator Ryan Murphy was a little bit more revealing. He goes on to say, well, I mean, yes, she is dead. The funny thing about a horror show to me is that anybody can die at any time. I love that. All I want to say is wait till you see what happens to the body. Shit goes down. When you see episode 4 and you see what Spalding did to the body, you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. Not only do I get it, but I'm very disturbed. So, Dariel, get ready to be disturbed again.
Great.
I think he has sex with the body, because if you see how the way he caressed it, I'm sorry, that expletive ain't up to no good. He ain't got no tongue, and
he goes
men
down
tell
on
no
her.
tales.
He's gonna go down on her with his
He just
chin.
blows. He just.
I'm going all up in that.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Dario. Go to bed.
We also have some more teases from Ryan Murphy. He actually did a full interview with Entertainment Weekly that was posted after the episode aired. He talked about everything from Minotaur sex to zombies, which are going to be introduced next week. He was asked by Entertainment Weekly about the flashbacks with Christine Embersol as the Supreme before Fiona. They asked if they're going to see that Supreme again, and Ryan Murphy said that there are flashbacks with her for sure. There's a great flashback with her and Angela Bassett that's set in 1970.
But I don't like that actress. Oh, man.
Well, I like Christine Embersol, so boo to you. We also learned a little bit about, well, they asked about Queenie, and I'll read the question and I'll read the answer. I feel like this episode really ratcheted up the twist. It appears Queenie is entering into a sexual relationship with the Minotaur. Is that correct? Here's what Ryan Murphy had to say. Well, I think that Queenie would like to be in a sexual relationship, not just with the Minotaur. I think she wants to be accepted. I think what happens to her and the Minotaur is also revealed in episode 4. So then Entertainment Weekly sort of cheekily says, I didn't think it was a friends with benefits thing. And Ryan Murphy laughs and he goes, it doesn't end well is all I will say. Yes. So we learn a little bit more about Misty. They ask if she's a little bit more malevolent than we anticipated. And he goes on to say, I do think Misty is not just a shawl-twirling lady of the bog. I think that she's maybe in many ways the most dangerous of them all because I think she has the greatest power of them all. You'll see her grow into that this season. He's also asked, what can you say about next week's episode? And Ryan Murphy says episode 4 is called Fearful Pranks Ensue. Kathy Bates is very confused about Halloween, and when she finds out it's Halloween, she wants to go out and burn a bonfire in the front yard to keep the evil spirits away. We're doing a real Marie Laveau White Zombie tribute. I recently watched again that movie, I Walked with a Zombie. I always loved that movie, and the voodoo zombies are very different from the Walking Dead zombies. It's a very gripping two-parter. So then they ask, so we're going to see voodoo zombies on American Horror Story, and Ryan Murphy says you are. Specifically, you're going to see Madame Lalarie's 3 horrible daughters brought back. In part 5, the second part, so I think he means in episode 5, the second part, there's a brilliant thing that I love of Kathy Bates. You see how Madame Lalaurie used to celebrate Halloween. She had her own chamber of horrors in her dining room that she would make her Halloween ball guests go into.
Oh.
I don't even want to think about it.
No.
Nah, I don't think I'll be watching that episode because I'm
Yeah.
I thought we were done seeing this bitch in her little shop of horrors, and I got to go through it again. No, I'm good.
Yeah. So on that note, please like us on Facebook. You can visit our Facebook like page by going to facebook.com/the letters PCR and then the words Are You Afraid? So that's facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? You can also like Papi Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Papi Chulo Radio. If you like the show's like page, you can actually see pictures of what the actor who plays the Minotaur looks like. So you can enjoy that. You can also email us with any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns by emailing contact@papichuloradio.com. Remember to tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for brand new installments of Are You Afraid? Coven. We're going to be here with brand new episodes every week that there's a brand new episode of American Horror Story Coven airing. So tune in every Monday. So co-hosts, my fellow Covenites, can you please tell the listeners a good night?
Good night, everybody. No hunching tonight.
Oh my god.
You did this shit on purpose. Alright guys, sleep well. Remember to bless your TVs.
Good night, you guys.
Ariel's still traumatized. Well, We wish everyone a wonderful night. Enjoy Halloween later on this week, and come back next
Wednesday
for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid, Coven. Good night, everyone.